Okay, Tiny T Prepper here again. Another little project I'm working on up here at Tiny T is the over the range, under the cupboard microwave. And these have a vent in the bottom of them that's, that takes the place of like a hood that goes over your range for smoke and that kind of stuff. So originally the place where I'm putting it, it did have a over the hood range here, so I got the electrical coming in, so I'm fine with the electrical to hook it up. But it, they're only about 3 or 4 inches wide, so it's sat in this place right here underneath this cupboard. Now if it's under the over the range, under the counter or under the cupboard's microwave, it's a little bit bigger, so I'm going to have to move this bottom cover up. So I'm going to have to tear some of this out and move this up a little bit, because I'll be mounting that microwave to the bottom of this. It'll fit in here nicely because they make those kind of a standard size, so that's good. And then I'll raise this up and actually mount to there, and I'm going to make it mine. I like I did this down at the other place where our other house, and when I installed it, I made it 22 inches from the top of the range down here up to the bottom of the microwave. So I'm going to measure up here, make sure I get 22 inches, and however big a space I am, that's how much I'm going to raise this to fit the microwave. So I have 22 inches here, and then wherever that comes to, that's where the new place where that cupboard will be at. Don't want to take it out completely, kind of like that, and I may make just a low drawer here. If nothing else, it'll store that electrical cord in it. Even if I have 2 or 3 inches, big enough space to hide that electrical cord that comes down in there. Alright, so I'll get this unpacked, and the brand on this is, I think it was UMC. It was kind of a generic brand. I hadn't heard of it before. Came from Lowe's. We did some shopping between Home Depot and Lowe's, and online I looked at Sears, and boy, they had a really good deal on this one at Lowe's, so we snapped it up here a few weeks ago, and one of those pre-Christmas sales. I think they come down, it wasn't Black Friday or anything, but they lowered the prices and quite a bit lower than what their competitor that was right next door to them was. We went from one, almost bought the one at Home Depot, and I said, we decided so let's go take a look at what Lowe's has, and glad we did. We saved some money there and got a pretty good deal. So anyway, I'll get this unboxed and read the instructions and get back with you, and I may have this raised up by then too. I'll have to do some cutting, so that'll take me a little bit, cut the power so I can pull that cord up through the bottom board there and get it up above and get that done. Alright. Okay, I took that top cardboard cover off, and this is what we have underneath. Got that glass tray there, and it looks like a metal covering for something, probably for wires. I'm not sure yet. Some screws there for anchoring, and then the cord that runs around there. So, and that's what we got so far. Okay, Tiny T Prepper here again, and wanted to show you, I got it marked up there. I don't know if you can quite see that line or not, where it's at, right there. And that's where I'm going to cut. And I got power saws and stuff that make short work of that be done, but we're living in here, got a range underneath and refrigerator next door, and if I turn that and cut, I'm going to have sawdust all over. So going back to the old trusty handsaw to do some cutting here. Takes just a couple minutes longer, but saves a lot on the mess cleaning up. So sometimes it's worth it to save a little time, or take a little time now to save a lot of time later cleaning up. Okay, I want to show you the result after raising up and shortening that shelf there. You can see there's a little shelf there. That's just an unpainted strip that's going to be hidden behind the microwave, but that's just where a wood strip had been across and hadn't been painted because it had a strip that was there before for molding. So anyway, all that in here will be hidden by the microwave. I added a little piece of wood down there. We got our splice board, which will be tile. It'll come across just above the stove there, and we'll go across, and then we have the blue just like we do on the sides of the cupboard. So that's all done down there. Up here I had to do the electrical. You can see there's a wire coming in there. I'm going to get a staple. I didn't have any handy, but I put an outlet there. I ran out of new ones, so I got an old yellow one that I had just so I could hook up the microwave, and I can change that out at a later time. So anyway, got that all done and secured. And what that's going to do is it's going to mount to this. Oh, I do need to put some screws or nails in there. I missed that. I don't have that attached yet, so attach that, I'll sturdy that up, and then I got a couple boards that go across the front here, so let me get those on before I forget, and we'll do that. Yeah, I want to show you this area here that I made for the over-the-range microwave, and if you notice before, I've raised up the bottom of that cupboard from down here where it was at all the way up to here. That gives me a lot more, from down here all the way up to here, gives me a lot more space above the range for pots and pans. It will come up to about here, so it will still cover all this stuff in here. And I got the nice blue here with the wood going around. A lot of that will be covered up too, but it's painted to match there, so what it isn't painted will be, and what isn't covered up will match with the cupboards that go around. Then we got down here the backer board, the tile will go straight across. So did raise that up, took a little bit of work to do that, not too bad. Had a wire come down there for the hood that was over here before, and I just run that wire to an outlet and made an outlet out of that, and that's where I'll plug in the microwave. Got a couple templates. One will fit up underneath here, and it has a couple holes. I think it's 3 holes. I got to drill a couple towards the front that hold the front of it up, and one towards the back that the power cord goes up through. And then there's a template that goes to onto the back here, and I hadn't seen this before. This is the other template that goes on the back, and it's part of the cardboard box covering. It was the lid, and it had the perforated edge around it, and almost threw it away as garbage, but I was reading the instruction, good thing I did, and it says don't throw away. I didn't miss that little part on there. It just got a small thing there saying don't throw that away. It's a template, and even after I knew it was there, it took me a while to find it, because I figured it had, directions on, something about a template or something like that, and now it's just the box, basically, and it's got a couple holes down here that they had in it, that are the other holes that you drill. And so kind of be aware, some of these templates, all the ones I've done before, had paper templates like the other one that goes up underneath the shelf, which is this one, and that's what I was expecting to find. And this one actually goes on the bottom of that shelf, that bottom of that cupboard that I moved up, and I'll tape that on and I'll drill my holes. I'll drill this one for the power cord here, and then this one for the bolt that comes down through. This will actually go towards the front of the microwave here, those 2 holes, and then it'll have the one for those 2 holes, and then it'll have the one for the power cord back in here, as it shows in the picture. So this is what I was looking for on the cardboard when it said it was part of the packing material. I had to do that 2 or 3 times and finally put my eye on what they're talking about and got it. So that's something I wasn't aware of. Maybe that's just the way they save a little bit of money for getting these down cheaper. Maybe if I'd have went to Home Depot and bought that one, maybe they had 2 templates, but for the price I'll put up with hunting a little bit to find what they're using. But all it is a piece of paper that shows you where to mark for the holes, and that'll work fine. So anyway, I'll get these holes drilled from the templates, and then we'll see if we can mount the bracket that goes on the back. See if I can find that here, and I'll show you that. And the way this works is, got this bracket here, it'll mount up in here someplace, wherever that goes, and then it's got a couple old brackets that you hang the bottom back of that microwave to on both sides, and this mounts, you want to make sure you hit a stud, so this mounts into a stud. They got a lot of holes there, so you're bound to hit a stud someplace, and so that goes, and that holds the bottom. Then you push that up, and there's a couple holes that I'll put bolts down from up above in that cupboard that's up there, that small cupboard that's left, and I'll put bolts down that screw into the top of the microwave that'll hold that up there. So had somebody here, I'd videotape that installation, but just me, so it's kind of hard to hold the camera and do that also. But anyway, I'll get that mounted and show you what it looks like when I get it all in there. So hopefully everything will look good. The power tested good, so we're good that way. Alright, got the microwave put in now. All I got left are some doors up above there for that little cupboard that was left up above. Don't know if we'll store anything up there or not. Got the cords up in there. If I push those back, there's some room up there, but probably not a lot of room other than maybe for some short spices or pie tins or something like that. But if nothing else, it's just a way to get in to work on the electrical if we need to unhook or hook up. So little space there, but probably not really usable. But I did lift this up in there. What it had underneath here, if you can see, I'll put a light on here maybe if it doesn't, are these little hooks that had a metal tab I put across there with these hooks, and those what support most of the weight. You hang the back of that in there, and then as you thread the cord up through the top, you start leaning it back in upright, so it kind of tilts up in. Would have liked to have shown you that, but working by yourself, it was this is probably more of a two-person job. It wasn't real heavy, it's just kind of awkward. It'd been a little easier with two people, but didn't really have any trouble getting it in and lifting it. So you know, they say two, but and probably best with two. But anyway, got it in there, and that's what it looks like when it's done. So real important to make sure you get your holes all lined up, follow those instructions really close. If you don't, I could see where there's some potential where you could have a lot of trouble with this. The bolts in the top, they have a little bit of play, but if you're off very much, they wouldn't line up to thread down through. Let me show you there what I'm talking through. When I lifted that up there, there's two bolts that go down and hook the top. Then when you lift this up, you're holding it down here, and you bring that up to where it's level, because you're hanging the back on the slots back there, and then you bring that up level. You're threading this cord through this hole, and you're pulling that up through because it's on top of the microwave. And then once you get it up there, you got these bolts you got to put down through that thread into the top of the microwave, and then you tighten those down. And this is the one I worry about not lining up. The back ones back there for those clips are, you know, that's got a little bit of play to it, and you can probably slide it around or do whatever you need to with it there. But these up here were pretty tight fit. Probably could have went with a little bit bigger hole, but you lose a little bit of strength. But with this being plywood, I don't think that'd have been a problem. In retrospect, I might have just drilled those holes just slightly bigger. They were a little bit bigger, but if you're off more than 1/8 of an inch, I could see where that might be potential problems. So I did measure really well to make sure everything was lined up where it was supposed to, and that I had the right dimensions from the wall. Besides having the template, they do have measurements given in there, and I'd say once you marked it with the template, to come back and double check with your ruler. You know, I left the paper on there. I drilled right through the paper templates, and not the cardboard, but the paper when it went on the bottom of this shelf here. And I drilled right through that, left it in place while I taped. You could poke a hole and mark the center of those if you want to. I prefer just to went right through the template. So, but once you do that, once you have the paper template up there, then go back with your ruler with the paper before you drill and measure to make sure those are the right distances from the back and from the sides, and that you do have that template in there level and stuff from the back. So anyway, those are the ones where I could see. The only thing I saw that might have been a problem was with those, and that it wasn't a problem. And I think as long as you're careful and get that template in the right spot, make sure you're centered on those holes, you shouldn't. There's enough play there. I don't think you'll have any trouble. All right, that's it. That's putting in a microwave. And like I say, I shopped around, or my wife and I shopped around. We found this one at Lowe's for a really good price pre-Black Friday sales. So there's always a chance you can get sales before Black Friday that are good. And this one, for the wattage, for the size, the cubic feet that are inside, is just hands down better deal than the others. Now, it ain't a name brand like some of the stuff you buy, but you know, we don't really care about name brand. We care that it works and that it functions, and some of the features that we're looking for it has. So anyway, hopefully it lasts. Otherwise, I'll be putting another one in here if it doesn't. But I never had any trouble with it, with appliances like that wearing out and doing things. So hopefully this will be the same. All right, Tiny T signing out. Y'all have a good day. Almost forgot the most important test. That was to see if it actually heats up food. So I have some leftover chicken here that I'm going to put in and make sure it does heat and warm. So we'll put this up into the microwave. And if I figure out how to use it, I always hate something new. Let's say cook time. Enter. We'll go 2 minutes. And start should be someplace here. Start, big button. Alright, we'll see what it does. It looks like it's working. And I did make sure the vents were clear up here. No, yep, they're all exhausting to the top, so. And I'll come back after it finishes the 2 minutes. Okay, it's starting to finish up here, and it ends. Beep. And 2 minutes. That is hot. Man, did that heat up good. And does that smell good? So, Tiny T will sign out again here and eat his lunch. I think he's earned it for putting up this microwave. Alright, Tiny T out. Y'all have a good day.